Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sönoma.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at 50 Clues.
Which is a new set of 3 linked escape room games from designer Jeppe Norsker.
It plays from 1 to 5 players in about 90 minutes.
So this is an escape room game series, and it's hard to review these kind of games because you cannot really talk about anything that's inside them. So this is going to be a spoiler-free review, but of course, as we say in these kind of reviews, if you don't want to know anything, don't watch the review because we might slip up and say something that you might consider a spoiler even though we don't. Let's get to it.
So let's start with the rule book.
There is no rule book, but that's actually a good idea because there is a tutorial video and also this video is not going to have any pictures because we cannot really show pictures without spoiling. You can see the box covers.
Yes, you
can. There is a tutorial video. It's about 5-6 minutes long, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it shows the rules. We're going to talk a bit more about the rules and how this game works compared to other escape rooms soon. But I think it works. It's kind of strange because it tells like a whole story of a demo game.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that as well.
Yeah, it kind of already sets the theme for the game already there, that it's going to be darker than your usual escape room
because
game.
This is, if you don't know, it's like an really adult themed escape room game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually like that, as you said there, that it gives kind of like, if you can go to the website and watch that tutorial, and if that's too much for you, don't play the game.
Yeah.
Basically, we're not going to say too much about what happens in the game, but if you think like, oh, that's kind of on the edge, then don't play these games.
Yeah.
Basically, and I think that's actually quite nice that you can go and see that without buying the game.
Yeah.
And see that if I don't like this subject matter, then you will not like the game at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which escape room game do you say is the closest to?
I really like the Unlock series, and I think this is most similar to the Unlock series.
Yeah, it feels like he has taken... It almost feels like a copy. Like, it doesn't feel like a complete copy, but it feels like almost a copy of that system. And I'm saying if something's good, why try to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, I agree.
But I actually think that Jeppe here has made some improvement to some of the problems that Unlock has. Because you don't use an app, you don't have to download an app, and you use an app on the website. And the thing is that you don't have the problem in Unlock, where you will see we have these 2 numbers, put them together, look at that card, and that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Maybe it was a spoiler.
Yeah, and that's something I obviously shouldn't know now. And he has fixed that by... Then you have 2 numbers, you put them in one of the spaces on the app, and it tells you a little bit of what happened. And if it was something that was correct, you will see, that's correct, look at this card. And that's the card that you need. And I like that. It's simpler.
Yeah.
It takes away that, of course, that frantic looking that you have in Unlock, because this isn't time. That's also an important thing.
Yeah.
A couple of times it can be time, but like most of the time, you can spend the time you want playing it.
Yeah.
So it's not that like frantic thing. You don't... But even though I feel like we want to play it pretty quick, I get that escape room feeling, even though I play it without a timer. I kind of railed after because a lot of thoughts about this game in my head at once. But I think that it works really well because you get that sense that that was right or that was wrong. Instead of flipping and seeing something else.
Yeah,
so
and also you get kind of a little clue sometimes when you do the wrong thing, because sometimes he explains why what you're doing doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, okay, we have to do this first. Okay, that's neat.
And the app works well. We played all 3 games. It did kind of glitch on the mobile. We played the first scenario on my phone. The second one, and like in the end of that, it kind of glitched, so that there was one thing I couldn't do, and I was afraid that it wouldn't be possible to start over again, but it was, so we could just jump in, so you don't, like, you get a percentage of how good you were in the end, so that of course wasn't right when you played the second one, but other than that, I think it worked pretty well. That if something happened, it was easy to just restart it and go inside again and
you don't
continue.
have to do everything.
That would have killed the joy.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I think that it works really well. There's really like it says, there's hidden numbers like there is in Unlock. I think this is better here as well.
Yeah.
Because in Unlock sometimes you have that problem where you're so stuck, you have no idea what's gonna happen, and you're like, you have to just look at all the cards and see if there's some number somewhere,
Yeah.
and then you, like you said, like, oh, is that the number on the book or is that the number in the background?
Yeah.
And I like that better here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really it's the same like symbol for the number each time. It's not really hidden. We have overlooked some of them, but it's easy to like go back to the cards and just there, of course. I like that absolutely, and I also like that the puzzles are really logical. I think that they fits perfectly into what you're actually trying to do.
Yeah.
If this was a real thing, it makes sense, and I think this is some of the best escape room game puzzles I have ever played. Actually,
Yeah, I agree. I think the puzzles here are really well done. I think that might be like I agree with you. I think this might be the most logical. Like,
Yeah.
there has been a single puzzle. I think after we understood it, a
Yeah.
couple of them made us frustrated, but I mean, like, we had to take the solution. I was like, oh, of course, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because some of the other escape games, I can play it, and after solving it, I don't really know how to solve it. Like, I get a solution in Exit, for example. There's been many puzzles I've been like, I don't understand how to
Okay.
solve this puzzle. I don't understand how this works.
even with the solution.
Yeah, even with the solution. And here, I think this might be, as you said, the most logical.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the best also use of course, the card version. Like, of course, in the escape room, the game and stuff, where you actually have some stuff you can do
Yeah.
more. But with this card or Exit, of course, when you can cut out things and fall and stuff. But this might be on the I think these might be better puzzles than Unlocked. Like, some Unlocked games are super good and some are
Yeah.
not so good because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I think the puzzles here are at least on par, if not most of the time better,
Yep.
because of the logical things that happens and the continuation of the story.
Yeah, this is how I want my escape room puzzles to be, and it might be because it works good with our brains.
Yeah.
We have some of the like easier exits works bad for our brains because we overthink everything.
Yeah.
And but so this it flows really good. It's nothing that are like really overcomplicated. It makes sense for what you're doing, and when we get the solution afterwards, we're just like, okay, now we get it. I think this is solid. This is a solid puzzle game.
So the system works well. The puzzles are great.
Yes.
So we have to talk about the story or the setting.
Yeah.
Without actually talking about it, that's the hard part.
Yep.
So there's been some controversy already about this game
Yeah.
because it is super adult themed. This
Yep.
is a horror movie-ish escape room
Yeah, it
game.
is.
Like, this is not Exit, like, oh ho, you're now trapped in my castle, try to get out. It's not that. This is, you are following a story.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it, but you're following a story which can be quite horrific
Yeah.
and quite horrible, and that have already made people really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So of course we knew that going in.
Yeah, I'm glad I knew that.
And I think that might have, of course, made it easier. But for me, I think I would have been shocked. I think I would have been, oh wow, is this what we're actually gonna do?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't bother me personally, like, because this is a story. This is something telling it, and it's also like, it's not really, it's a couple of places where it's kind of grotesque, but it's not really telling it like in detail. Like if you watch a gory movie, you will see a lot more stuff in that. This is like,
Yeah.
the drawings, we can talk about that. They're black and white with some red details here and there.
Yeah.
So it's basically like Schindler's List. Not to compare them at all, but it's kind of like the same style. And it is realistic, but it's not photorealistic. So
Yes.
you're not like feeling like, oh, that could be a picture. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like an artwork.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that is provoking me in the
No.
artwork.
I agree, and I think what you said, like watching the tutorial, if you think that is too much, you should steer clear of this game.
Yes.
We didn't think that was too much, but we were aware of what might
Some of
show
the
up
stuff
in
would
this
happen,
game,
yeah.
and I'm glad I was prepared for that. But as you said, it's not worse than a horror movie that I've seen. And even though sometimes you feel like you're doing something that's not right for you, you have no power to change the story.
No, because
And
it's not a choose your own adventure
No.
path. It's not like you can choose to do good or choose to do evil.
Yes.
If that's what happens, but it's a path. And if you want to see the story, you have to solve the puzzles.
Yes.
And you have to think like the person in the story to see what would that person do in
Yeah.
this situation, and that might make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
But I appreciate this real, like engaging story that you care what happens. You, it's not the best story in my life, but it's. I would rather have this and be a little uncomfortable with myself than have another like villain from Exit that again
Aha.
is locking us in this room of puzzles that makes no sense. This all makes sense, and I really appreciate that. I sometimes feel like it's really thematic for bad and for good and for
Yes,
bad,
yes.
and I really appreciate that the designer has put so much care into making his universe work so well.
and of course, like if you do things that are kind of over the top or kind of like this, people will think like, oh, it's just for shock value. I don't feel like. I feel like it's a story here.
Yes, I
and
agree.
it makes sense. Everything that happened makes sense
Yeah.
in the story. Is it a horrible story? Yes.
Yeah.
Would I want any of this to happen in real life? No.
No.
But I also watch horror movies. I love horror movies, and I would say that watching a really painful horror movie, like if you ever watch Funny Games, the German original, that's like maybe the worst movie I've ever seen. Like it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, but one of the worst feeling movies I've ever seen. Like that's so many levels over this, because like of course I have to choose what to do, but when I watch that movie, I can pause the movie and quit watching the movie. Like it's my choice actually watching the movie as well. And I watch movies where where all my inside is just feeling so bad. I watched movies which were really good, but after I watched them, I had to sit like for 15 minutes and just be like, how can I process this happening? And I didn't get any of that in that game.
Yeah.
It might of course be because the puzzles are so a huge part of it, and we are more into solving the puzzles than like trying to be living the story. But the story, like if you get really drawn into stories and you like try to live everything through what happens, you might react more to this. But if you like play it as an escape room game with a super dark theme, and I was aware it was going to be dark from the boxes, from the illustrations.
That this is going to
It's
be
gonna be
like
graphic violence, it
and
says
it's
that.
not suitable for children. And we also follow what does it say, a murder story.
Yeah.
So it's quite clear that this is
Something
not
bad
gonna be
is gonna
super
happen.
pleasant.
Yeah. So I don't think we can talk much more about this without just beating a dead horse and saying the same thing again and
Yes.
again. Do you want to add something to that discussion of the story? And
Oh, I think I'm ready for final thoughts actually.
yeah, because it's hard to talk more about this without going into spoiler territory.
it is.
So do you want to start with
Yes.
final thoughts?
This is I'm really impressed by this game. I really like it. I thought that the theme was going to bother me more because there was so much negativity that I've heard about it.
Yeah.
But I think that the universe that he's created makes sense with the puzzles, and I really applaud him for making so great puzzles for us.
Yes.
And making, like, I think this might be my new favorite escape room game. And this is so, he's done so many things that's positive from Unlock, and combining it with his own things. And I think this is top notch. I really like it. And I think I'm going to give this 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't for everyone. Like you have already understand. We're trying to tell that to you without saying like this is happening or this is happening.
Yeah.
Because that would spoil it if you want to play it. But if you can enjoy it for what it is, if you
Yeah.
can enjoy that it's gonna be dark, you're not gonna play it with your kids. You're not gonna play it with. If you like watch the tutorial and be like, oh, I'm not sure, not play it.
Don't
But
play
if you think that you will like it, and if you like logical escape room games, you should play this. Like I agree. I think this might be my new favorite escape room style game because it's so logical. It makes sense. And I also like that it is trying to make something different.
Yeah.
I like that the story is dark. It could have been dark in another way, but it's
Yeah.
like I like that it's trying to do something different
Yeah.
than just you're pirates or you're locked in a castle and all these themes that are in other escape rooms. It's actually an escape room game that tells a story. You might not like the story, but that's not that we can tell you if you like the story or not. But I really enjoy it, and I'm also going to give it an 8.5.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely great experience, and I hope you will enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the review, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.